If you bear with me a second, I want to speak to a couple trends that I'm noticing in this area that I'm involved with, which is training law enforcement and first responders about individuals on the spectrum. And that is lumping the autism spectrum and the individuals who lie on it in with mental illness and individuals who are clinically diagnosed with a mental illness. And where you're seeing that is in this growing number of training events or papers or lectures or training topics that are put out by well-meaning people that are, the topic of them are how to deal with or de-escalate crisis individuals with mental illness or autism spectrum. And that's really dangerous to go down that road. One, it's disrespectful to individuals on the autism spectrum because they're not mentally ill. My son is not mentally ill. And that's not to disparage or judge somebody who is mentally ill, but it's just not accurate. Two, it's dangerous in that what you see stemming from that are these, for example, these crisis intervention teams that are popping up across the country. These regional teams that are put together by well-meaning people, again, that really are good, great ideas and they serve a great purpose. But there's a danger there that there's a false sense of security that a chief could be lured into or a leader of a law enforcement agency could be lured into, saying that I have checked that box because I have access to this crisis intervention team, or even I have a couple officers who participate in this team, that my agency is covered. And I can rest easy knowing that if there's ever an individual in crisis or one of my officers ever tries to de-escalate somebody who's on the autism spectrum, I can just call out this regional crisis intervention team and they can come and they're more highly trained and they can bail my officer out when there's a crisis. What you have to understand is your officers are interacting and dealing with individuals on the spectrum on a daily basis, multiple times in their shift, and they don't know it. And most of the encounters your officers have with individuals on the spectrum don't escalate to the level of crisis. It would never merit activating this crisis intervention team that you have put so much stock into. And the reality is that through good training, like the training I provide and other good people are doing, a lot of these situations can be de-escalated on a routine level with just certain tools, knowledge, strategies, understanding, and empathy. They can be de-escalated before they rise to the level of crisis. So I need you to understand that there's a false sense of security there, that you still have to make sure that your officers are trained on specifically individuals on the autism spectrum, not just this blanket coverage that I'm seeing popping up where this is just one subcategory of a broader heading of mental illness and spectrum disorder. In my opinion, the training that I provide on the autism spectrum and other good people are providing should fall under, if it's going to be lumped in with anything, it should be lumped in with cultural diversity training. And these individuals, millions of them, should be considered a culturally diverse part of your population, not a mentally ill portion of your population. I hope that makes sense. Stay safe.